The main advantage of a 360 camera is that it films all 360 degrees, allowing you to select your field of view after filming. This concept takes a while to get your head around, but it's insanely powerful. It means you don't really need to focus on what you're filming or need a camera operator to point the camera for you. You can choose the perfect framing after the fact. As a videographer and vlogger, I find this extremely useful and often have times where I prefer using my Insta360 to my other professional gear. It opens up a whole new world of production possibility. I mainly use my 360 as B-roll to aid the story I'm trying to tell. There are three main categories for filming 360. As we go through each category and introduce more, the concepts in the previous categories still apply. Number one is fixed location, such as a tripod. The advantage you have with a 360 is framing. With 360, not only do you capture everything, but you can also fit any shot to any aspect ratio and easily add motion to your shot afterwards during the edit. Here is a scenario where I was both filming and partaking in a blessing in Bali. To get third-person behind-the-scenes shots of this happening was made extremely easy by just being able to place the 360 camera in the center of the action, press record, and forget about it.
And now your husband, yeah? No? Boyfriend, yeah? Boyfriend, yeah? Yeah.
The second scenario is handheld. This is where the fun begins. You can now be filming on the go and in frame from a third-person perspective simultaneously. The overlap from multiple sensors covers the stick, leaving you with a magical floating camera. It's like having a mini drone without the hassle and the noise of operating one. Watching it back is like playing a game in third-person mode. An excellent example of an amazing scenario to use something like this is when I shot my first video fully in 360. I was water rafting through some rainforest, and there's just no way I would have been able to get shots like this with any kind of traditional camera setup. When operating handheld, the best shots you can get with a 360 camera are always going to be the ones that other cameras wouldn't be able to get. They just stand out more to consumers because they haven't seen this type of content before. The limit is your imagination, but there are two main ways I film with 360. I will usually point the camera view back at myself or the subject I am filming. This straight up just looks good, and all you have to do is hold the camera out and away from you. The ideal distance is about 2 to 3 meters, and doing this is perfect for almost any activity where your hands are free. Because you have the data of a whole 360-degree field of view, the software stabilization is next level. Even walking, moving shots are as close as it realistically gets to using a gimbal or some kind of mechanized stabilizer. Combine this with unlimited, perfect framing, and you can get videos that look like they were filmed on a camera crane. Make the most of this and add motion to your shot. The more your viewer can see from that moment, the more interesting the shot is, and the higher your retention rate's going to be. The third approach to filming with 360 is to fix the camera to yourself or an item you are using. This will take your filming to the next level. By mounting the 360 device, you are able to film yourself third person as if you had someone else there doing that job for you, completely hands-free. This has enabled me to get shots in scenarios where I don't have someone else there to film the moment, and actually get some shots that would be impossible even with someone else there filming, just because of the difficulty of getting somewhere to the space where I'm filming from. Attaching the camera to you can be very simple. I often just slip it into the front of my backpack straps, which allows me to go hands-free in the moment, and then as soon as I want to film something else or take it out, I can do so instantly. There was no setup time. An example of having the camera up high is getting a hyperlapse as you walk through an area. You used to have a camera on a tripod, taking a photo every single step, making sure that you had your grid lined up on something in frame so that as you moved, you could keep your shot stable. Now all you have to do is set your camera up above your head, set it to hyperlapse, and then simply walk through an interesting path of the place that you want to show in hyperlapse motion. Thanks to the stabilization and the ability to choose your framing afterwards, you can get the perfect hyperlapse first time round. Another example of where the camera's low and just positioned on my chest is when I'm driving on my moped. What this allows is for me to just film. I can then drive without having to worry about it. It's easy to start and stop, but unlike a conventional camera that only faces forwards, I can look around with this camera. If there's an interesting thing to the left or right, I can actually look left or right. If I drive around something, I can pan and keep on it. I really love using this for drive. This leads nicely on to the next section, which is to attach your 360 camera to a device or object that you're using. There are so many mounts and so many ways that you could attach your camera to you or the object you're using that it really just comes down to deciding how you want to do it and then just going and buying those pieces. So far, the best mounting system I've come up with in order to capture me doing my job whilst I'm focusing filming on someone else was to mount my camera directly to my gimbal. I got this shot by attaching my Insta360 to my Ronin, like this. Then when I was out on the shoot, all I had to do was press record and film like I usually would, and the camera would stay perfectly floating right next to me, capturing everything that I was doing. You could also attach the 360 camera directly on top of your camera, which would be awesome for some freeform videography or photography. Ultimately, it's a problem-solving game. Visualize the shot that you want to get, and then work out with the cameras and tools you have available how you're going to recreate this so that you can capture it and show it. Use 360 cameras for those wide establishing shots and help make it feel like your viewer is walking right next to you, there in the moment. 360 offers a whole new approach to filming. If you need to wrap your head around the many options available for the start to finish process of 360 filming and editing, go check out my last video where I cover the most efficient route to achieve this. Please subscribe so you don't miss out. Thank you for your time. See you soon.